What's up, everybody? It's your boy True Element 78 in the building with.
The Mondo Lucha Hall of Famer, Xavier Mustafa.
And I'm a very confused Chris Black.
And today is our predictions episode for Saturday Night SlamCasters. Predictions based on this Sunday's WWE TLC 2018. We got 12 matches on this card. We're going to run them down for you guys and give our predictions based on what we've seen from this past week's Monday Night Raw and SmackDown episodes. To kick things off, we're going to start off with the Rey Mysterio versus Randy Orton's chairs match. Chris Black, what's your thoughts on this?
Just because I've been hating on Rey Mysterio lately, I give the win to Orton. And I hope he unmasks him.
You want to see
We've seen that already.
I know, but we haven't seen it in the E yet.
Kevin,
He might as well go ahead and retire with no mask, looking like a 12-year-old boy.
Kevin Nash is going to come out and save Rey Mysterio from Randy Orton.
If his quads hold up.
I was going to come back, pick him up, and lawn dart him into a trailer again.
What you thinking, Xavier?
I'm going for Rey Mysterio on this match because he's Rey Mysterio. So, yeah.
I'm going to go with Randy Orton for this match. They haven't shown me anything from Rey Mysterio on this return. And we always talk about the WWE being petty. I think Rey Mysterio did some things out there on the independents that the WWE frown upon. And he stood tall on SmackDown as well. So that's usually not the best of signs for you. One thing I can say about this entire pay-per-view is, like I said at the top of the show, is that we got 12 matches on this card. So we're going to have some short matches. And I believe this is going to be one of those short and quick matches. This next
12 matches, though, it's a 4-hour show with at least an hour pre-show. Could be 2 hours. You got the pre-show, then you got the post-show.
The pre-show.
So.
Oh, man. The next match, I think, is also going to be a quick one, but this one actually has some stakes in it. The winner of this tag team match will take the third entrance spot in the women's and men's Royal Rumble match. We got R-Truth and Carmella versus Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox in the finals of the Mismatch Challenge.
So say what you want to say about my boy Jinder Mahal. This is going to be a fun match. I'm actually looking forward to this match. And I am going to go with R-Truth and Carmella for the win. Even though I'm a Jinder Mahal fan, I'm going to go with those two for the win because I think that will make a more entertaining Royal Rumble if R-Truth comes down as number 30 for the women or something ridiculous like that. Because you know he's going to do it.
True. I'm going to have to agree. Not the part where you praise Jinder Mahal, but I'm going to have to agree that R-Truth and Carmella is going to go away with the win because Jinder is just going to get pinned probably by Carmella.
Oh, dang. You got to get pinned by Carmella, bro?
Wow.
Yep. Got my money on Carmella.
I got my money on R-Truth and Carmella because I think that that dance break is just over, and I can see them pulling that out in the middle of the Royal Rumble. So be prepared for some dance breaks. Moving on to our next match, which is a rematch from the Super Showdown that happened in Australia. We got the WWE Cruiserweight Championship on the line. The champion Buddy Murphy is taking on Cedric Alexander. I don't really watch 205 Live. So, based on that, and kind of based on the fact that we had Mustafa Ali on SmackDown this past week, and he's a 205 competitor, and he's kind of mixed up in this whole Cruiserweight Championship thing as well. It kind of leads me to believe that Cedric Alexander is not going to win the Cruiserweight Championship here either, because that Mustafa Ali and Buddy Murphy match, I think they have unfinished business. So I say Buddy Murphy's going to win this one.
Yeah, I'm going with Buddy Murphy as well.
Yeah, I will have to also agree because I feel that Mustafa Ali, after SmackDown, his match with Daniel Bryan, he's probably going to be wrestling him at the Royal Rumble. Well, I'm sorry, the the pre-show of the Royal Rumble.
Man, I think the cruiserweights are starting to really earn their keep now. They're starting to get more features on the main card. So I don't think that the cruiserweights will be on any pre-shows in the near future, at least. A match that could be pre-show. I know we spoke about Rey Mysterio and Randy Orton, and we spoke on the mixed match challenge. I think the mixed match challenge match is going to possibly be a palate cleanser before the main event of the show, and also because it's leading into the Royal Rumble. But this next match, I don't know. This could possibly be a kickoff match. You got Elias versus Bobby Lashley, and on WWE.com they have it listed as a ladder match, and we know that it's supposed to be, I believe, a guitar on a pole, or a guitar suspended above the ring.
Yeah.
So I don't see Bobby Lashley climbing any damn ladders. So if anything's gonna happen in this, I see Leo Rush climbing that ladder and taking some gnarly ass bump from Elias.
Right.
Who wins? Bobby Lashley needs some heat.
I'm gonna have to also say Bobby Lashley. I think him and Leo Rush are they're on a roll right now. Leo had a little wrestling action on Monday against Elias and got the pin, so you know they're on a roll. I think WWE's gonna put I don't want to say put the machine behind them, but they're definitely gonna give them a little bit of a push.
Well, I want to go with Elias because he is a underused talent, I think, in the WWE. But in this match, there's only one winner, and that's Lashley. Lashley. Lashley.
Yeah, I think Elias is one of those superstars that can suffer a loss, and he can take this loss. Bobby Lashley needs something. If he loses here, then that just lets you know what the WWE really thinks of him, and he'll basically become the AOP of the singles division.
Wow.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Finn Balor versus Drew McIntyre. I think we all kind of know where this match is headed. But Xavier, give us your thoughts.
This was a little tough for me because I do think Finn Balor needs some momentum because he has none right now, in my opinion. But I have to go. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Drew McIntyre. I have to. I can see either way, but I'm gonna have to go with Drew McIntyre on this one.
I'm also gonna have to pick Drew McIntyre. I think that they're gonna kind of book him as kind of like a beast. So I think Finn Balor's unfortunately is gonna catch that wrath. So I got my money on McIntyre. Now if Finn Balor breaks out the demon, I think McIntyre's still gonna do him in. So and I don't know if they're gonna do that, so I don't think they'll do the demon.
You just stole my thunder. I was gonna say we've only seen the demon at the Summer Slams. For this match, I feel like he needs to bring out the demon, but I also feel if he does bring out the demon, Drew McIntyre still wins and gives the demon his first loss.
Well, apparently the demon only comes off a high caliber talent like Baron Corbin. That was sarcasm there, by the way, audience.
So I think we're all unanimous on Drew McIntyre. Next up, we have Natalya versus Ruby Riott versus Jim the Table Neidhart.
I'm gonna say they have to give the win to Natalya on this one. They have to. I can't see them letting Ruby Riott go over talking about her daddy like that and disrespecting her daddy like that.
What do you think of that angle?
Ruby Riott's got heat. I think she's got heat. That Natalya had to sign off on that before they did it. So I think as long as she was cool with it, I don't know. I think it brings heat to the match. I hope it's a good way to get Ruby Riott over. I don't want to see Natalya going over in this match.
Yeah, it's a tables match. Natalia really doesn't have any friends. Like this whole storyline has just been her like coming out to save Ronda Rousey, but getting beaten up by the Riot Squad at every turn. I haven't really seen anybody having her back. I know Monday we saw Ember Moon come down to help out Ronda Rousey, which is also just funny to me because Ronda Rousey, that they were building it up to be a badass, but she's got people watching her back, whereas Natalia was kind of a part of that whole unit and has been just getting her ass whooped every week.
Well,
and
you gotta look at the difference because like Ronda Rousey is like half of Nia Jax, and then Nia Jax also has Tamina, and that's like another two of her. So that's like one Ronda Rousey versus five Ronda Rouseys
I say, don't do no
with Nia
Scott
Jax
Steiner
and Tamina.
math.
I started to for a second.
well, the only thing I'm saying is Ronda Rousey. What does she have over those two people you just named? Speed. So they were on either side of the ring and climbing up on there. Ronda Rousey could easily keep them off of the apron. Like I don't feel like she needed Ember Moon to come down and necessarily save her from a beatdown in that instance. Um, but basically the point I'm getting at is that Natalia doesn't seem to really have any friends. So, and I would actually rather see Natalia actually lose this match to really put that heat on Ruby Riott, and so we can get the Natalia turn on her questioning people like, where were you? Why didn't you come out to help me? Like, you know, every week I've been out here having my family disrespected, my name disrespected, and dragged through the mud. I've been getting put through tables, and you haven't had my back at all. So I'm looking forward to that. Even though that's a sensical storyline, so we know WWE would not take that path.
I don't think Natalia makes a good heel, but I don't know.
All
Yeah,
right.
I don't know if she makes a better heel or a better baby face. I'm not sure with that one because she's
She doesn't make a good baby face because no one really cares about her. Like everybody respects Natalia. She's one of the most respected women on the roster. But as far as that connection with the crowd, I don't feel like she has it.
well, it's because WWE didn't do really much with her when she came in. They kind of, they kind of wasted her, and so now nobody cares.
Yeah. Next up, we got a match that should have been a TLC match. Even Bubba Ray, Bully Ray, whatever you know him as, even he spoke to the fact that this should be a TLC match. And he also gave these teams high enough praise to say that they're probably the only tag teams that he could ever see possibly topping what him, his brother Devon, the Hardys, and Edge and Christian did in their TLC trilogy, I believe it was. So we got the Bar versus the New Day versus the Usos. The go home this week was them having a rap battle on SmackDown and the Bar standing tall. So, did you like the Ice Sheamus? Who's gonna win this?
I want to say they were standing tall after some beatdowns, and not after the rap battle. Let's clarify that for the audience if they didn't watch SmackDown. But as far as this match goes,
Oh, it's for the tag team titles. I forgot to mention that.
I'm glad that the Bar is in it because that's going to make the match interesting for me. Even though they have great matches all the time, I'm kind of overseeing the Usos and the New Day. So I'm glad the Bar is in it to mix it up a little bit. They're going to have a phenomenal match. And yeah, it should be a TLC match. Like they're missing the boat on that one. But maybe they're going to save something special for them and the Royal Rumble, maybe. I don't know. I hope so. But the winner of that, I'm going to go with the Bar.
Now, my first instinct is to go with the Usos for the win, but just because this pay-per-view kind of seems like a placeholder, and I don't think too many titles are going to be changing hands. So I want to say the Usos. I would like to see the Usos go over, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Bar retains. But I would. My final decision is with the Usos. I've been impressed with them lately.
I'm gonna go with the Usos in this one. And the only way I see the Usos not winning this is if this is the breakup of the New Day happens in this match somehow, some way. Someone turns.
I'm over the New Day.
It hasn't been hinted to on television, but that's the main reason I'm saying it. I don't think the New Day has become stale. I think that this combination of these tag teams is becoming stale. They have phenomenal matches, but we've seen but we've seen these teams compete before. So this is going to be an awesome match. It should have been a TLC match. It's just a triple threat for the tag titles. I just see the Usos going over. They're really, out of everyone in this match, they are the high flyers. So this combination is damn near the Dudleys, the Hardys, and Edge and Christian. Like the Bars, the Dudleys, the New Day would be Edge and Christian, and the Usos are Hardys. So,
You know what? Actually, I just thought about something. Maybe we're forgetting about something because maybe we need to think outside of these three teams because we really don't know what Lucha House Party rules are.
but they're
So
on
they
Raw.
could easily
They're
be
on
in that
Raw.
match. That don't mean nothing. It didn't say if it's brand specific. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
But they
It'd be awesome to see the Revival just come down and take out all their frustrations on all the tag teams. That'd be kind of cool.
God, that'd be amazing.
yeah.
Next up, we got what should be the main event. What should be the main event. What will be the main event for many people. We got Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair versus Asuka in a triple threat TLC match. Women's title suspended high above the ring. Asuka was standing tall at the end of SmackDown this week. Has Asuka returned to dominance? Or are Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair both ready for Asuka?
This is a very tough one. This is an extremely tough one to call. My first choice was gonna say Flair, and I picked her because I wasn't so sure Becky Lynch was going to be available after this match. I just figured they were doing this to kind of get the title off of her. But I don't know if they want to take the title off of Lynch yet.
Do you think that
So I'm gonna have to go with Becky Lynch retains.
Do you think that Ronda Rousey or any of the horsewomen get involved in this match to play a role in the outcome of it?
I would say if it does happen, it would be if Ronda Rousey's matches happens first, she wins, and then she goes down there to get her justice back, if you will. That's the only way I see Ronda Rousey being a factor because it would just be kind of stupid for her just to come out now if she didn't come out on any SmackDown or anything to try to get any revenge. But if she goes over clean on what's her name? Nia Jax. Then I could see that. I could see that happening. But for me in this match, I think who wins in this match is the fans because I think it's going to be a phenomenal match. And I could go with either Asuka or Becky Lynch in this one. I don't think Charlotte needs a win. I think Becky needs a win to keep her heat going. I think Asuka needs a win to stay as a top tier female wrestler because all of her losses aren't doing her it's not doing her any favors right now. So I can go with either one of them, but if I had to pick, I would probably say keep it on Becky Lynch, have a Becky Lynch and Asuka deal into a WrestleMania to go into Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey. That's how I'll book it.
I agree with pretty much everything that you just said. Charlotte Flair does not need to win here. Becky Lynch, if she hadn't gotten her face broken and she were to lose this match and Asuka were to win, I don't think it would have hurt Becky Lynch. But with the entire injury and the speculation about her not being able to possibly even make this pay-per-view, I think that Becky needs to win in order to keep her heat. But I also feel that Asuka needs to win. Otherwise, she just becomes Kane just someone in this match to take up space
Right.
and
Right.
and to be basically a scapegoat for why the outcome of the match is the way that it is. So it's between Asuka and Becky for me. Charlotte and Becky can continue their feud without a title being involved, and it would make the Royal Rumble that much more interesting if they were both in the Royal Rumble. Uh, it this match can go so many different directions because Ronda Rousey even immediately after Survivor Series was on television and social media talking about seeing Charlotte at the TLC pay-per-view because that'd be the next time they'd be in the same building together. So that threat is already out there. So Charlotte's got to watch her back. She could get taken out. Becky Lynch could get taken out, and Asuka could climb up to win that belt. I'm gonna go with controversial. I'm gonna go with Asuka. I'm gonna go with Asuka winning the triple threat match. I think it's a much better storyline if Becky and Charlotte have to earn their way into that WrestleMania pay-per-view versus Becky holding on to that belt till WrestleMania, which I can't really see. I don't see anybody on the horizon in SmackDown who could take that belt from her and it seemed legit. But I also feel like Asuka needs to be legitimized after the things she got put through after WrestleMania this year. Speaking of Ronda Rousey, next up we have Ronda Rousey versus Nia Jax for the Raw Women's Championship.
Right.
Go ahead.
Ronda Rousey, hands down.
Ronda Rousey, hands down.
Ronda Rousey. I don't think Nia Jax is going to take the belt off of her.
Yeah,
I think Ronda should actually no sell a punch to the face, but I don't know if Nia can do it safely.
Ronda should, like, all the pent up anger and stuff she has, she should just like straight just dog walk her. Kind of like she did my girl Alexa Bliss. I don't like talking about that too much though. But
do you think this will be a quick match?
well, the last match was a good back and forth match for, and they went some time, and to me it was believable. But I think right now the pent up anger that Ronda has, I think it shouldn't go long.
yeah, it should be pretty much a squash, but I don't know. It all depends on how they view Nia. I think you got to keep Nia looking somewhat strong for when she does face Becky Lynch eventually, and that's also something that we're forgetting here. I know we were mentioning Ronda Rousey getting involved in the Becky, Charlotte, and Asuka match, but what about Becky getting involved in the Ronda Rousey Nia Jax match? Because it's also the first time that they're going to be in the same building again. See, the thing that they've done with the women, and it's spectacular, but it's also sad at the same time because it wasn't by design,
Yep.
is these overarching and weaving storylines that we have going on in the women's division right now, where there's intermingling. It's not one person versus one other person, and that's the only storyline that's going on. We have 5 different stories going on right now in the women's division by itself. You have the reemergence of Asuka, you have Becky versus Ronda, you have Charlotte versus Ronda, you have Becky versus Nia. So this is, and you got Asuka versus Flair. So it's a great time to be a women's wrestling fan. so there's many different ways that even this match could go. But yeah, we all agree that it's going to be Rousey. Next up,
And that's
go ahead.
and that's why I say we win either way.
Yeah.
I don't think it, with the exception of Charlotte going over, I don't think any combination of anything they do would be a bad decision.
Right.
Besides Charlotte going over. Sorry, Charlotte. But
Yeah. Even though it would be a long shot if they put that title on Ronda Rousey, Nia Jax, and Ronda Rousey had to go into the Royal Rumble. I think that could be pretty interesting as well, but I don't think like if Ronda lost the belt, I wouldn't be mad because I think that that could create a good storyline in itself as well, as long as Nia Jax doesn't walk into WrestleMania with the title.
Yeah, that's,
You know,
do you give Nia Jax that win?
I'd like to see it be a Nia Jax and Becky. I mean, I think that'd be a decent WrestleMania match. But then you'll have to go Becky Lynch and Charlotte, which again will be another good match. That leaves Asuka out. But man, so many, yeah, like you said, True Element, it's so many different ways you can go. Like I said, I think the only thing out of those matches that would be the worst case scenario is Charlotte going over for the title, because I don't think she needs it. But if you have Charlotte go over for the title, have God, what's her name? Not Becky Lynch. Ronda Rousey lose, then she can go after Charlotte for her title. Because that wouldn't be bad, is it? I don't know. I'm talking myself out of my own stuff now.
And WWE.com needs to get a much better editor because things are so inconsistent on these listings for these matches. Because the pay per view is called TLC. Everything that has a chair or all right, there's one other TLC match on the card, and that's the triple threat. And they just have TLC match. For Braun Strowman versus Baron Corbin, they actually typed out tables, ladders, and chairs match. So they had to be very specific. So maybe a triple threat TLC match means triple threat tender loving care match. Or maybe triple threat as in TLC. the pop group. But anyways, you got Braun Strowman versus Baron Corbin in a tables, ladders, and chairs match. Haven't seen Braun Strowman since the elbow injury and surgery, and him showing up, letting everyone know that he was gonna make it to TLC for his match. Haven't heard anything about him being cleared or anything about him not being cleared officially from the WWE. I know the dirt sheets have been making their own possible reports of Bray Wyatt replacing Braun Strowman in this match, but we're not going to operate on speculation. We're going to go on what's been presented to us, and what's been presented to us is that Braun Strowman will be competing. And if that is the case, this is going to be a 30-second match.
With Braun winning, is that what you're saying?
Yes, the only thing about that would be crazy is the fact that you got Baron Corbin losing matches that damn quickly, like within how many a 3-month span. When was it that Finn Balor busted out the demon? Wasn't that right before Survivor Series to beat Baron Corbin in like record time?
Yeah, it was some random pay per view. Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know
I
which one. I
think
can't think.
I know he was GM because I remember him. He had on his Applebee's waiter outfit. So
He always. This is new standard gear now.
I don't think that Strowman will gain anything from a win. I think Baron
well, he gains a
Corbin.
title shot.
I think Baron Corbin somehow is gonna, because he's got Drew McIntyre, he's got Bobby Lashley, like, kind of like in his back pocket. So I kind of think that they're gonna be the cause of Strowman losing, if Strowman even shows up. Because if Bray Wyatt is the substitute, come on now. They've done Bray Wyatt so bad, they're not gonna. I don't know. I think Corbin's going over. He needs a victory. He can maintain his heat. He keeps his GM position. I think Corbin's going over.
But see, the thing about it is, like, Stephanie, like, you can tell, like, Stephanie doesn't want to give him that position. So that's why, like, I don't know, I'm not feeling that. I think Braun Strowman will be in the match. He will probably have a sling on that arm, and he'll give him them hands with the other arm, and that's going to be the end of Baron Corbin. And then they can fire him the next night on Raw and get Kurt Angle back, or Jason Jordan, or Bray Wyatt, whoever they want to be the Raw general manager, and then we can all
AJ
move on
Lee.
with our lives. That would be amazing. That'll be AJ Brooks, I think. No.
That would be amazing. I would love to see I would have loved to see AJ Lee and Paige at Survivor Series, like as general managers. That would be awesome. But Anyways, Braun Strowman is my pick. Braun
Braun
Strowman
Strowman.
is
My pick too.
Mustafa's pick, and Chris
I'm
Black,
rolling with Baron Corbin. I'll be the odd man out.
you'll be the lone wolf. Then next up we got Bane versus Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental Championship. Um they've done nothing to convince me that Dean Ambrose is a threat. They've done nothing to convince me that Dean Ambrose deserves to have a championship around his waist. They've done nothing to prove to me that Dean Ambrose could legitimately wear a belt at this point in time. They've done nothing to build on this feud. They've done nothing at all for either one of them heading into this match, which is why I'm going to stick with Seth Rollins. Seth has just been taking abuse from Dean Ambrose for the past 2 months. So Dean has to get his comeuppance here. And I also hope that we get to see Renee Young go complete heel in this match.
I think that Dean Ambrose is going to get the victory. I think this is going to be the other title change of the evening. I think that Seth Rollins doesn't need a title, and it's always been the babyface chasing the heel has always been the better combination. I don't know if Seth Rollins will continue to chase Dean or if Dean's going to go off and do his own thing, but I could see them giving Dean another run with, well, not another one, just get a run with the Intercontinental title.
I'm about to go with Seth Rollins on this. I don't see Dean going over at all. Seth Rollins is too hot right now. He is like he's doing everything right, like being the voice for the people on the last show, talking about Darren Corbin and how awful of a general manager he is and how awful the ratings have been since he's been the general manager. I think if they do anything to extinguish that fire, they are foolish. So I'm gonna have to go with him on that.
And then finally, we've got Gaia versus God. Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles for the WWE Championship. And I say Gaia because anyone who's ever watched Captain Planet knows who that is. And then we got AJ Styles, who is a devout Christian. And I mainly just say that because Daniel Bryan is playing this hippie character right now that's going around. I thought that he should have kicked when Mustafa Ali said that he drives an SUV. I thought that Daniel Bryan should have kicked him in the balls, like he said, like he told Corey Graves last week that what do you do with a coworker who drinks a little bit of their water bottle and drives an SUV that gets 6 miles per gallon? He's like, you kick him in the crotch. Like I definitely thought he was gonna do that to Mustafa Ali, and I thought that would have been awesome. As far as
I'm digging the Daniel Bryan attitude change because he's being the evil vegan. Everyone thinks that vegans are douchebags anyway, so he's just being extra douchey.
He's playing a South Park character right now. But I think if he was just going around doing, I think the only reason they have him do it is because they had Nakamura doing that same gimmick months ago. But I think that if Nakamura hadn't done that, we would be getting a vegan balls kicking SOB right now.
But is he kind of doing the straight edge society, except this is like the tree hugger society? Is that kind of what he's doing? Because it seems like because
he's gonna
CM Punk was doing the holier than thou kind of thing, and that's kind of what Daniel Bryan is doing.
Right.
Not to say that it's not interesting, because I do find it interesting.
See, I want Daniel Bryan to cut the Stone Cold promo that he cut on Jake the Snake. You said your vitamins and said your prayers, and it got you nowhere. I want him to come out and say something like that to AJ Styles. You said your prayers and prayed to your God, and look at the earth. It's still falling apart. It's still climate change everywhere. You think you can just ask for forgiveness and it's going to change the world, don't you, AJ?
They need to turn it up a notch and have Daniel Bryan be an atheist.
Whoa.
I think you may have just gave creative an ideal, and because it's a good one, they won't use it.
Oh my God, with AJ Styles. Oh my God,
And AJ Styles,
literally. Oh my God.
AJ Styles would go Charlotte on him with a kendo stick at that point. What do you mean you don't believe in Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior? I'm gonna beat him into you. But yeah, Daniel Bryan isn't losing that championship. Not to AJ Styles. Not at TLC.
Nope. Daniel Bryan retains.
I will
It'll be a
third.
good match.
I third that idea.
And I hope that this is the match that we deserve from these two.
Yeah. It seemed like they held back before, so
like I said, we have a stacked card. I don't know where this match falls in the card. I know
who's closing the show out. Do you think? What do you think is going to be made?
Well, we said the women's championship match should close out the show. The only thing about that is, and it really sucks, is that WWE does have their own network, but they do still broadcast on pay-per-view, so they have to buy their time. So we have this super stacked card, and if that is the main event, their time could end up being cut if things run long. So that's always the one thing that people tend to forget about when they want things as the main event. This card, like we said, is like 12 or 13 matches. I want the women to be given time, especially in the TLC match, and especially in the first one. So that should be the main event. The AJ Styles Daniel Bryan match, I want that to be given time so that we can actually get the match, because I think this is the blow off for the AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan's feud. I don't think that there's anywhere else for them to necessarily go from here. What they could do at Royal Rumble, I guess they could have another match, but what kind of stipulation would you put on something like that? One thing that we didn't mention and we forgot to mention is what is his name? I forgot. I can't think of it right now. The referee, the new referee.
Oh, oh God, I got kids. What's his name?
Heath Slater.
Heath Slater.
Heath Slater is the wild card that we forgot to mention in his Braun Strowman and Baron Corbin match.
Oh, that's right. He's the ref, right?
Yeah. So
you know what? That might be an even better reason for Corbin winning, because I mean, he got kids. You know what I'm saying? So he might, do something dirty, do something strange for some change. You know what I'm saying? For Baron Corbin.
But he proved on Raw that ultimately he's still a good guy. Or not on Raw, SmackDown. On Raw that he's still a good guy.
How did he prove that? He tried to screw Seth out of his match, and he let Elias just get beat down. Remember Seth super kicked him. Remember he pushed Seth off the ladder. Seth got up, took Baron Corbin out from the top of the ladder, and then Heath Slater tried to bargain with Seth Rollins, and he super kicked him.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, I mean, yeah, but he still was like, come on, like, you trying to explain himself to still kind of be a good guy. Like he's forced to do this. So it may have a change of heart.
No, I think that was a little bit of foreshadowing for a heel turn. He got kids.
Yeah, but like I said, we completely forgot to mention him. So we have the Intercontinental Championship match. He could be a ref in that match. We have the Braun Strowman Baron Corbin match. He could be a ref in that match. We also have the Drew McIntyre and Finn Balor match, and he could be a ref in that, which would also call back to the 3MB days. And there's the possibility of him and Jinder and Drew McIntyre crossing in the hallway. The WWE's going out of their way to keep these three out of a scene together. But now that he's a referee, I think that is very difficult to avoid. I know Jinder is on Jinder is on Raw. So Jinder, Drew, and him are all on Raw. So you have the possibility of him reffing the mixed match challenge match.
I didn't even think about that. Um,
3MB reunion, baby.
3MB is gonna
although
run
I
wild.
prefer McIntyre to kick his head off and genders.
Well, he ain't got to do gender, but he could Claymore kick somebody. Yeah, that'll be fun.
That actually probably would be a good match, and that's probably the most positive thing I'll say about Jinder Mahal. But
Jinder and
actually,
Drew.
McIntyre, yeah, and Mahal.
What do you mean a positive thing you can finally say about Jinder Mahal? What does that mean?
Well, I mean, obviously he'd eat the pin still, but I think it'll be a good match.
The guy was WWE champion for a long time. That man carried SmackDown for a long time.
Mm. But yet Joe can't get that title.
Because he's just the average Joe. He's got a 33 and a third chance, and he has half the brain.
Man.
But yeah. So those are your TLC predictions. Right here, right now, I'm gonna put my man Xavier Mustafa on the spot real quick, since this is going up on the YouTube page. Go ahead and give a shameless plug for your New Year's Eve show.
Sure. So Legacy Pro Wrestling will be presenting NYE Fight Night live from Tanner Paul Hall. That's 69th and Orchard in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We're going to have actually 8 matches scheduled that night. We're going to start at 7 o'clock. We should have everybody out by 10, so in case you guys want to, put the kiddies to bed and go out and party or whatever you want to do, you can come back to the building. We'll still be there probably a little bit past midnight, so if you want to come celebrate with us, come out. It is also our fan appreciation night, so all tickets have been discounted to $10. So normally front row is $20, general admission is $15, but all tickets will be $10. You can get those tickets at legacyprowi.com. You can also get to that link through Facebook by finding us on facebook.com/LegacyProWI.
And are we gonna have a tag team championship match on this card?
Well, the tag team champions, the Caribbean Connections, will be there. Rumor has it that Chris Black may be showing up. He may have something to say to the Caribbean Connections since he wasn't there at the last show, and may have
I'll be
resulted
there.
in TC Washington losing the tag team championship to the Caribbean Connection. So should be interesting.
And what is going to be the main event?
What about is there a rematch involved?
I mean, technically, the Urban Horseman does have a rematch clause in their contract. So,
and what's the main event of the show?
The main event, well, we got a double main event. The first one is going to be Angel Armani versus referee Jesse Bush. For those of you who have been paying attention to what's been going on in Legacy Pro, these two have been going back and forth for probably the last 7 or 8 months. So hopefully this will be over. They're going to have a lumberjack match, so Armani can't run. And then the main, well, I won't say the main event, but the other main event is going to be David Soul defending the Legacy Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Championship against Rough Crossing.
All right, and there you have it. Make sure you go check out Legacy Pro this upcoming New Year's Eve. So those have been your TLC 2018 predictions. You've been listening to Saturday Night SlamCasters. If you're just now discovering us on YouTube, be sure to check us out on social media, on Facebook and Twitter at Saturday Night SlamCasters. Also, be sure to subscribe to our podcast, which can be found on Google Play, the iTunes store. It can also be found on Spotify and wherever you get your podcast from. Be sure to subscribe. Leave us a like here on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. We'll be updating and uploading more content as time goes by. We're going to start exclusively placing our predictions here. Like I said, thank you guys for checking us out and tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one. This has been Saturday Night SlamCasters. Holla at your boy. Come get slammed. Peace.